What are you talking about?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Ross's Harvard diploma. The only problem is Mr. Ross never actually went to Harvard. The only place he did graduate from was Danbury Federal Prison, where he spent time for impersonating a lawyer.
All right, that is inadmissible and irrelevant.
You're claiming bad faith. Your whole life is bad faith. I think a jury should have a chance to hear that.
Maybe you miss what just went on back there.
What went on back there is the judge ruled in my favor and you didn't get your case dismissed.
He also showed his hand. Well, how do you think 12 jurors are going to roll when it's plain as day that the guy hearing the case doesn't even trust you?
If you let this asshole bully you, you're gonna be backing down for the rest of your life.
I'm not backing down. I am buying time so that I can stop this bullshit from ever happening again.
You don't need time. I have a way. Stop apologizing and start intimidating.
Well, that's a hell of a slogan, Harvey, but what does it actually mean?
It means you go out, you find a reporter, and you take control of the narrative. Instead of a lying fraud, you're a hero fighting for redemption.
I don't have time to change my image. Look, if I lose this case, the only article that's gonna get written is that I never should have been able to practice law in the first place.
Yeah, well, if you can't figure out a way to win without Rachel's help, then maybe I shouldn't have brought you back in the first place.
I'll get that.
Keep your money, Mr. Ross. You're going to need it.
I think after you see this, you're gonna wanna save every nickel you have. Thanks. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's a memo between Acumen Senior Management and their sales force outlining their policy of doing whatever it takes to avoid paying claims.
Wow. This thing can be interpreted a dozen different ways. It doesn't prove a thing.
It proves that we're not just talking about my client anymore. You're looking at a class action. And if there's one thing a jury hates more than a fake lawyer, it's an insurance company that rips off widowers and children.
What do you want?
50 million. With an admission of guilt.
No way. They won't go for admission.
Okay, here's what you're gonna do instead. A reporter's gonna call you. And when he does, you're gonna tell him the story of how you thought you were gonna wipe the floor with this fraudulent attorney, but instead you ended up praying that you never go up against him again.
You knew they wouldn't go for admission. You set me up.
Well, now that you mention it, I did. And that's take it or leave it.
Then I guess I'll take it and leave out the part where you traded admission of guilt in exchange for self-promotion.
Don't you dare say that to me. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing it so that pieces of shit like you never try to use my history against my clients again.
A reporter from the Times is going to be here in 5 minutes.
Okay.
We are doing an interview. The redemption of a fraudulent lawyer.
Well, that is the best news I've heard since finding out you got into the bar.
Mike.
Yeah,
David Grunt.
good to meet you.
Where do you want to do this? I was thinking maybe your new office.
Yeah, we could end up there. I was thinking maybe we'd start out where I started out,
Where's that?
in the bullpen.
Can I get you to anything? Coffee, tea, a copy of your article in the Sunday Times?
Don't need it. Read it yesterday. Have one at home.
And by one, he means 10.
Are you sure you don't want to take just one more look at it?
I'm good. Thanks, Donna.
Okie dokie. You have a nice day.
Something's going on with her, I can tell.
What do you mean?
You telling me you didn't notice that grin on her face?
Rachel, you've known Donna longer than I have, but I didn't see a grin. I'm telling you, I think you're imagining it.
Right. Totally imagined it. Harvey?
Rachel, you know, black can be slimming. Something to think about next time.
I take it this is your way of apologizing for saying you never should have hired me back?
And he gave me a chance to say the slimming thing. Sorry, Mike.
You had a point, Harvey. It's the Radiant Technologies murder.
Yep. Back to one for me.
Great, except you don't need me for this. Deal's done. They sign tomorrow.
Which is why Klein Robinson thought that I wouldn't mind if they put a few last-minute changes in the contract.
And a few last-minute changes means they're trying to pull some last-minute bullshit.
Now that sounds like the impressive young lawyer I read about in the article. Why don't you figure out what they're trying to do and get it done by lunch?
Who says I need slimming?